Welcome, Transformer fans. My name is Composite EnerJoe, and today we bring you my review of the Transformers Studio Series Leader Class. And there's a big boy, Blackout. Yes, here is Blackout in his, do I say iconic? Yeah, iconic. He was the first movie Transformer that we actually see transform in the very first film. And here he is in his iconic vehicle mode, which is a what was it called, a Sikorsky MH-53 Pavlo helicopter. Yeah, here it is. Let's take some close-ups of this. And like, I don't know if you can really tell, but this is a really big figure. Like, it is huge. Like, I'm actually pretty far away from the camera. That this is in order to get this in frame. But yeah, this is a really big figure. Big helicopter mode, which is very, very nice. And thanks to that extra size, it gets a lot of details. Whoops. I think that propeller is in the way. Got some nice detail there. Little Decepticon symbol. Also, deco-wise, like as so far, like most of the Studio Series, it's very screen accurate, and this helicopter mode is very screen accurate. I like the little detail that back here. There it says Blackout back here. That wasn't in the movie, but it's a nice little touch that they put that in there. And yeah, it's just a very, very well-made vehicle mode. Very nice, very nice. In terms of articulation, the main propeller? Yeah, the main propeller, or the main rotor. I don't remember now. But yeah, the main, this thing can turn freely. Well, not freely, but it can turn, but it does have friction when you try and flick it. Do this, it'll stop. Well, because there is friction there that keeps it in place, but you can rotate it. You can rotate it. However, this back one does rotate freely. As you can see. Boom. That one can rotate freely. The main one doesn't. I think it's mainly due to transformation, but yeah. I gotta stop. He does do one other thing, and that is there are landing gear. You actually have landing gear here. For this front one, you just, whoops, you're supposed to push this forward. Push it forward, and then bring these in. Oops, you have to like angle it for a second. And there. And that's how you take care of the landing gear. For that. And that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode. It's just like to show off that there's like rivets and panels and everything. This is a very, very detailed vehicle mode. On top of being massive, it's just very, very nicely done. Do I want to say that that out of all of the Studio Series figures so far, this is like my favorite vehicle mode? Yeah, I gotta say it. I think out of all of the, as of right now, out of all of the Studio Series figures that I own, as of right now, this is my favorite vehicle mode. This is a very, very nice vehicle mode. He also comes with a little bonus accessory, and that is, if you remember the first movie, if you look down here, it's got a little buddy, and it's, whoops, a tiny Scorponok. Well, it is a tiny Scorponok. Let me talk about this little Scorponok. Like, it's painted, and it has a tail and two arms. Can you focus? There we go. Check that out. It's a very nicely detailed little Scorponok. Like, I'm very impressed by this. And this thing has a little bit of articulation, which he has hinges on his little arms. And let's see, hinge, and two hinges there for the tail. So yeah, there's nothing else to really say. It's a very nice little Scorponok. It's not really in scale with the figure. If anything, the deluxe class Scorponok is more in scale with this Blackout than this thing. However, it's just a nice little accessory that they added. It's a nice little accessory that they added for Scorponok. And how you store them is when you saw them, you just put them in here. This is the storage area for Scorponok. So let's get a little scorpion knock and put him off to the side. And I'll just show him back. I'll bring him back in for the robot mode to show you where it stores there. And now, without further ado, let's get on with transformation. I don't want to say that it's really difficult, but it is involved, and it'll take you a couple tries to really get it. But first things first, you have to come back here and do a little bit of parts forming. I'm not a huge fan of it, but you got to do it for Blackout here. You have to come back here and pull off the rotor, and then fold this down, and then we'll just have it off to the side. This will actually become his weapon in robot mode. Yeah, his weapon. So now we get on to transformation. What was the first step in this thing? Let's see. Well, first things first, you can go in here. Is it that one? Is it that one? There we go. And there's like specific ones that you fold. So you can fold down the his propeller, his main propeller. You just gotta finagle with this thing in order to like move all the parts around. And then for this, you move this forward. I don't remember 100% how this works. You are supposed to start removing panels. You start removing stuff. And then separate that. Separate this. So separate. You gotta finagle stuff. Out of the way. Okay, wait. First thing, I think we have to focus on the arms in order just to have a clearance here. So move this to the back, move to the side, fold this so, and then fold this back. Go in here and separate this. Like hopefully I'm able to get all of this on. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. After separating this here, you fold this down and then bring this out. This is how you form his arms. So then come in there. See his hand? You can pull out his hand. Bring this out and bring it here, and then attach it here. Like so. In there. And rotate forward. And that is how you do one arm. And then you bring this forward and connect it here. There, you get a nice little click there. That's how you get one of his arms. And for this, I believe you're supposed to have it like... Well, this will focus on this thing later. Now, for this arm, it's the same as the other. Bring this down for clearance. Fold this up. Separate. It's very strong attach there. Like this, fold this down. And then fold out arm. Bring this and connect it there. And then you come over here and for clearance and then connect it there. One thing I have to mention, because at least on my version of the figure, for some reason this side, when you clip it in, as you saw, it's a very strong connection. Be very careful. I have a feeling this could break if you put too much force on this. Because it's a very strong connection. See? I'm trying to take it apart. I don't want to... You have to be very careful with this. Then connect it there. There's like also a little sort of a peg here you can connect to. Peg it in there. And then we have his arms. Now his arms are ready to go. Now we can focus on the legs. So then you're supposed to... What was the next step? Like, a bunch of stuff you gotta do. You have to come in here, I think. There we go. Separate this. Separate this. You have to unpeg this there. Then have this up. Like so. Wait. A lot of angling here. And then there we go. Then you bring this entire thing up. Fold this down. Well, let's focus on the feet just to simplify this. Then we got the feet. What you're supposed to do is rotate this forward. And here's something interesting. There is a bit of an automorph. When you turn this up, this also pops up, which is kind of nice. It's neat. A nice little callback, I guess, to the original figure. Then what you're supposed to do is that you take this, pull it out, rotate it, and then push it back up. It'll line up with the rest of his feet. Push it back up. And then you lift this up a bit. Come on, like you lift this up and then rotate it around. And then you should be able to peg it in somewhere. Whoops. There is a way, there is like a spot for you to peg that in. And there you go. That's a 1 foot. And this side is the same thing. Rotate it forward. As you can tell, there's a lot of detail in. There's a lot of mechanical detail, which is very nice. Forward. Same thing. Pull this. Rotate. Make sure. Lift this up to flip around and then push it up. And everything should peg into place. You may have to mess with it a little bit, but it is supposed to all peg into place. And then that's it for that. Now you gotta work on the back a little. That's this thing we have to do. All right, this is the first thing you gotta. There's a strong click there, but you have to fold this down like so, and then unpeg this up like so, and then bring it into here. This little what's it called? This little notch here is meant for this. Just plug it into there, up there. Now you can almost see the robot. Let me just lift this up a bit. Okay. You can almost see you can pretty much see the robot practically. But then this is the next part. You then come over here, come down here. Oops, come down here and push this up, which will cause his head to reveal. And you can push this back. And then what you need to do is rotate this down, this entire thing down, like flip this forward, rotate. Come on. Rotate this down into where that cavity was, like this, and then peg this in. And don't worry, once you attach, there is another piece you have to attach in order to keep it in place if it seems too loose. Like it doesn't really peg into place. It doesn't seem like it pegs into place. But don't worry, there is another thing that needs to attach from the back that holds it in place. So then first you then lift up this assembly. Oh, why is he so big? This assembly like so, and have it be angled here. And this you can just finagle it, but like this. Come on, angle this. Oh, and one thing that took me a while to figure out is that these little pieces, you need to have them like this and feed them here. They're supposed to attach, they're supposed to be in this area. So angle this forward, angle this up to move the wings. And then, and then this, here it is. This peg goes here. So you have to peg this into place. You have to move a lot of stuff out of the way. And then peg, you have to put this in there and then peg it into place here. There we go. Once it's in there, you can pretty much just adjust everything else. And then adjust these forward, put these on top and these over. Place. Hold on. Got to I gotta adjust myself. All right. Okay. So yeah, once this pegs into place, the torso will have connected and you have a strong connection there. Now, if he looks a bit lanky, there is a way to fix that. And then for this, you can just, hold on. You can push this, come on. Come on, you should be able to push this further in. Hey, hold on 1 second. Okay, just made a quick adjustment to put this top panel, just put it underneath this motor or engine, to put it underneath this so that it looks a little nicer. And then for everything else, you just gotta adjust, put this over like so. Put it over, this over, a lot of just adjusting that over. He's almost done. And then you have to give him the good old chicken legs. This all the way back and this forward, back and forward. And then, like, you could keep the legs extended to give him some more height, but it does make him look really lanky, which looks really weird. Which looks kind of weird. Like, it doesn't look right. But if you give him the good old chicken legs, it looks, it bulks, it evens out. And let me see. Let's see. Oh boy, I did say this transformation is pretty involved. It's not really complicated, but it will throw you off for like the first couple times. You need to transform him like several times to really understand how he works. It's not that bad, but it could throw you off the first couple times. So, oh, and then this just pointed down. There we go. That's what was missing. And there we go. That is Blackout. Get a close up. Very nice. Let's get a close up on that head sculpt, because that's like the nicest thing on this. Check out that head sculpt. Very nice, very screen accurate. And just, wow. I mean, it took a while to get here, but yeah, this is a very, very nice transformation. This is a very, very nice robot mode. Now, in terms of posability, he's got articulation. He does. However, his bulk does make it a little difficult to work with. Like, as you can see, this is hanging back here is like his rotor cape. But there it is. He can move, and each individual one can also move. For articulation, he can go in and out a little. You got like a hinge there, hinge, oh, wait a minute, hinge, darn it. Come on. I just got you here. The arms are probably pretty problematic, but it can hinge. There is a hinge here and in and out, and then there is a swivel at the elbow as well as a bend at the elbow. The hands can go up and down slightly, and he does have a thumb. He's got a thumb that does move, which I don't know. All I can say, it's a nice little detail. It's a nice detail that they added the third finger, that it can move on its own. And the other arm has the same amount of articulation. His head is indeed on a ball joint, but because of it's located, it is kind of restricted. For some reason on mine, he can turn left further than he can turn right. Well, no, you got it. You got to push it a little further for him to turn right. And there you go. For legs, he's got better range on his legs. He can do with some work, he can do a very nice kick, and nice little ratchets. Can go out, forward, back on ratchets. Has a swivel at the thigh and a double hinge here. There's one hinge there and another here for the chicken leg pose. But there you go. And like I said, check out all these details on him. He's just full of details, which is very amazing. All of these are mechanical details. Very, very nice touches. Okay, let me just get him standing up again. The arms are a bit finicky to work with because of all the stuff on him, but he has a lot of, he's very bulky. He's a bulky figure. He was a bulky character in the film, and he's a pretty bulky figure. And honestly, I don't think that detracts. This is super, super close to how he looks in the movie. This is like very, very accurate. Very nice. I mean, if you want, you can also have this gun pointing forward as like to sort of replicate his chest cannon he used in the first movie. But yeah, that's his articulation. He's got it, but his bulk kind of gets in the way a little. But that, honestly, that doesn't bother me, but just how well this thing looks. This just, I'm just gushing. This looks amazing. This looks exactly like he does in the movie. This as far as I'm aware, this looks really, really screen accurate, and I really like it. It's just amazing. And I'm glad that Blackout finally got a really good figure because, what was it? He basically, after the first movie, he got replaced with his twin, Grindor, and that was it. For years, it was just Grindor who was using this mold, who was using this this model. But I'm glad that they went back and gave Blackout a proper figure. And here's a funny thing: they made in the studio series, they made the right choice, the proper choice of making Blackout a leader class, because back in the first movie, Blackout was, I think, the tallest Transformer in that film. He was the biggest one. He was taller than Megatron, who I think was the second tallest in that film. And then what is it? What was it? Yeah, and one small thing I didn't really notice until I got this figure, and I noticed it, is that for the Studio Series figures, the robot modes are to scale with one another. I didn't notice that until I had Blackout, and I started to realize, and I started thinking that, oh, I'm glad they finally made Blackout a leader class. That was a good choice because Blackout was the tallest of all of the other Transformers. And then I started to look at all the other Studio Series figures, started putting them side by side, and I realized, wow, they are actually to scale with one another. One perfect example is Ratchet and Bumblebee. They're both deluxes, but Ratchet is a little taller than Bumblebee, which is how it's supposed to be. Ratchet is taller than Bumblebee. And here, Blackout is taller than all of the other Studio Series figures because, well, he is the tallest one of the first movie. So that is very nice. Like I said, in the robot mode, they went out of the way to put them to scale with one another. I don't think the vehicle modes are really close because, well, Ratchet turns into a Hummer, which is significantly bigger than a Camaro. However, I think vehicle mode wise, the cars are to scale with this thing. Maybe. No, it's still a bit off because I think this is still supposed to be a little bigger. But yeah, it's very nice of them to have the robot modes be to scale. And oh wait, I'm not actually done yet. I have some of the accessories. We have the little Scorponok, which you can store on his vehicle mode by just pegging it back here. So fold the arms a bit. Just pop it in there. Where is it? Is it supposed to be like this? No, it's supposed to be like this. Hold up. Supposed to put that in the screw. There we go. And then you can have this folded up or folded down. And that's how you put it back up. That's how you store Scorponok in his robot mode. Just pegging it back there, which is nice. And that's where he goes. And then you have the little rotor, which becomes his weapon, kind of. There's a little plug here. You just plug it in there, and you can plug it on either arm. But just plug it. I said just plug it. Ah, don't do this to me. There we go. Just plug it in there, and he's got his little rotor blade weapon, which he did have in the first movie. He had like a mini rotor that he just pulled out, and he used as a weapon for a scene. And yeah, that's it for the figure. Oh, and one other accessory he came with is, like all Studio Series figures, he has a backdrop. However, this backdrop is... Hold on. If that looks familiar, and let me put him on here. Let me put him next to it. This scene is his iconic scene in the beginning of the first film. This is when a Blackout attacked the what was it called? The Soxent Forward Operations Base in Qatar. It was that U.S. military base in Qatar that Blackout attacked while looking for information on Project Iceman. The whole thing about Sam Witwicky's great-great-grandfather, Archibald Witwicky, who found, of the frozen Megatron. Yeah, this was, and you can put him up here, his scene. This was the scene where he attacked the military base in the first movie, in the Soxent Forward Operations Base in Qatar. That's what it was called. And yeah, very cool. And obviously, it's obviously the backdrop is to scale with a leader class, so it's a very big backdrop. And that's it. What can I really say? It's an awesome figure. In terms of, let's say, design-wise, like mechanically speaking, the transformation is really involved. I think a bit more than I would like. But hold on. The vehicle mode is fantastic. It is spot on to an actual MH53 Pavlo. To me, it looks identical, except for like some undercarriage problems. But like all Transformers have undercarriage problems, like most of them do. But the vehicle mode is really nice, amazing vehicle mode. Transformation is a bit finicky, and I would have liked if maybe they simplified it a little bit more. But it is what it is. It was a very the transformation could have been easier. I just want to say that I prefer the transformation not to take me 3 hours to do. So they could have made the transformation a little bit easier. And the robot mode is fantastic. To me, this is fantastic because of how accurate it is, and that is just amazing. The backdrop is also really nice. The accessories are not bad. I like this. I would have liked it if it wasn't like just the what is it, his rotor, and he just sticks it on his arm. I would have liked if it was like like something else, but it's still not bad. And I like that it is nice that they were able to replicate it. And the little Scorponok was a very nice touch. They didn't have to do that, but the tiny Scorponok was a very nice touch. And what is it? Articulation. He has it. The bulk gets in the way. I will admit that he's not really mobile. You can't really mess with him too much, and he does. Like I said, articulation is one of his weaker points, but doesn't take away that it's an amazing figure. This is a very nice and awesome figure. It is. It's just awesome. So yeah, I have nothing else to say. It's an amazing figure. Go get it. Just go get it while they're still available. So yeah, this has been my review of the Transformers. Oh, and I guess one other small thing to really mention is that in the first Transformers film, in that toy line, Blackout, the Voyager class Blackout, was the smallest of all the Voyagers. Just wanted to point that out, that I'm glad they made this one a leader class, because it makes sense that he's a leader class since he was the tallest of all the Transformers. But it is funny to think that back in the first film's toy line, he was the smallest of the smallest of the Voyagers. He wasn't even a leader class. He was a smallish Voyager. I mean, if I remember correctly, Brawl, I think, ended up getting a leader class, and neither Blackout nor Grindor ever got anything larger than a Voyager. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So this has been my review of the Transformers Studio Series Leader Class Blackout. This is Composite EnerJoe signing off. Peace out.